subscribe and like the video.
And in doing so, he cited outright Saudi propaganda they created to legitimize them massacring, maiming, and starving the people of Yemen in their decade-plus.
He called you unintelligent in the content czar Bomba. Well, he can have his opinions.
Long US-backed assault on the country. So if you don't know, the Saudi Arabians intervened in Yemen.
A lot of the tweets people show are fake. He has a video about it. No, I'm not talking about the very obviously fake tweets, okay? Shut the fuck up. I'm not talking about the very obviously fake tweets, chat. I'm talking about the very obviously real ones, okay? He definitely goes a little too far when it, anyway, just
against the Houthi-led anti-government rebellion, which started during the Arab Spring, and they have just been wantonly bombing.
Yet he still has defended you so much. No. One thing that you guys have to understand is if I said something that Bad Empanada truly disagreed with, or if I said something ahistoric, okay? If I said something that was incorrect, okay, in terms of historical analysis, he would rip my asshole apart. The only difference is Bad Empanada does not defend me. He defends the truth. He understands that he understands what the history of Israel looks like. He sometimes even has more aggressive stances than I do, certainly in terms of my commentary around Israel and Palestine. But overall, he would be just as ruthless if I were engaging in some kind of bullshit. If I was saying some kind of bullshit and that was just incorrect. Yeah, he doesn't care about the drama necessarily, but I think he understands that drama causes people to watch stuff. And he cares more so about the history.
In the country the whole time, they have been blockading it, starving it. They have been responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people minimum. And all this time, they have been supported by the US and to a lesser extent by Israel. And Ethan Klein, in all of his wisdom, in his desperation to try and make the Houthis look horrible, he ended up just uncritically citing propaganda as well as misciting 10-year-old articles to claim that they reintroduced slavery. So I want to show you that. There are two articles in particular that he cited that are just directly Saudi state propaganda. It's ironic as well that throughout the supposed content he claims that Hasan Piker was being paid to make it by the Houthis, the government of...
Wait, that's pretty funny. Okay, that's insane. I didn't know this. Ain't no way. One of the poorest countries on the planet was funding me. USA, they got Houthi aid. What Houthi money, man? They got one F-15, don't they? Or not even. They got one plane that they bust out for ceremonies. They got fiber, bro. You were poor. No, that's Hezbollah. The Houthis do not have fiber. No, not an F-15, an F-5. Sorry. Yeah, they got Yemen aid.
One of the poorest countries in the world are apparently paying a millionaire in Los Angeles to do propaganda for them, which doesn't really square when you consider the reason to suspect Ethan Klein of being paid to do that for the Saudi government, given that the Saudis are well known for doing precisely that. Things like sports washing, paying celebrities to go to their country and talk about how great it is and stuff like that. The Rock does that, for example. Cristiano Ronaldo does that. I think even Lionel Messi does it. Plenty of celebrities who do that, who they pay to do that for them. And now we have Ethan Klein suddenly just citing Saudi government made up propaganda to which they use to justify them massacring the Yemeni people over the last 10 years. So let me show you what I mean. The first direct Saudi propaganda that he cites, and he might have even cited more. I want to make clear here, I suspect that he cited more. I did not check literally every single headline, because his whole thing is that he flashes a headline on the screen for a half a second, just rapid fire 20 in a row, just hoping that no one actually looks them up. So let me show you.
They've also set up landmines in agricultural spots, making the fields virtually worthless. Women have...
Landmines in agricultural spots making the fields virtually worthless. That's an interesting claim, isn't it? So let's check that out. So the headline here is Yemen Army removes 300,000 Houthi landmines in liberated areas. Now, you can immediately tell...
a lot of this stuff that that Human Rights Watch and many other NGOs talk about in Yemen, and especially the even stuff like slavery and all these other things that are happening in terms of like Yemeni domestic affairs. If you don't have an understanding of what it looks like to be, Hasan just got caught in 4K. Wait, what? You laughed at dead kids. There's no way Hasan is watching this lunatic, Lamafayao. You laughed at dead kids. Yeah. I'm sorry, chatters. I can't keep responding to your hallucinations. Okay. In any case, what I was saying is when we talk about like what happens in the countries, like Iran is a great example of this because it's a nation state that is like developed outside of the sphere of Western influence after the Iranian Revolution. And a big part of this, like a big part of the fundamentalist approach that they have is directly born out of American and Western intervention. You know what I mean? This is one of the major issues when you look at countries that have just been ravaged by war. Okay, when you look at countries that have been absolutely eviscerated, ravaged by war, and the ways in which their governments are trying to rebuild, and oftentimes are rebuilt directly by some of the more fundamentalist elements. It happens as a direct consequence of their material realities. So we judge it as though, you know, the country that has been under a man-made blockade with Western forces and Western weapons by Saudi Arabia and the UAE is we judge them on the metrics of America, basically. Like, why won't the average Yemeni have the same exact attitude as like an American living in New York City? Why won't the average why won't the Yemeni government be able to behave in the same way that like my local administrators behave? You know, compared to Hasan, dude is 34 and tries to speak and dress like a Zoomer. What is oh, okay. We got the stands in here, I think. I don't think I try to dress like a Zoomer at all. I just dress the way I dress. But like, am I a who is an Islamist fundamentalist, or am I trying to dress like a Zoomer? Because stands basically hold these two things in the same to the same severity. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of betray like the major points that you're making. It's also funny whenever Ethan Klein fans say, I dress like a Zoomer, like I dress bad. Come on, dude. Like, how are you gonna throw rocks from glass houses like that? That's crazy. They came for your tabbies today? Yes. Ethan spent a good 30 minutes going over your outfit and how a socialist shouldn't dress nice, but then called your style whack. Yeah, it also kind of doesn't make sense. Let's continue.
There's something weird here because it's like citing the Yemen army saying this, and the Yemen army is the Saudi-backed, deeply unpopular Yemeni government that basically the entire country rebelled against. So that's already a bit weird, right? It also doesn't say anything about agricultural areas. So let's check out the actual article. So looking at the article itself, it doesn't actually say anything at all regarding agricultural areas and making the land useless. Even literally he made that up completely. It's not even here in this article, which, to be clear, is Saudi propaganda. So this article does nothing but cite the Yemeni government itself, who obviously are just going to say bad things about the Houthis or their opponents. And it's from April 2018, which is right at the height of the Saudi in Yemen. Basically, this is enabling propaganda, particularly when you look up what Arab News is. Let's look up this outlet. Who is Arab News? Arab News is an English language newspaper published in Saudi Arabia, and it is owned by Turki bin Salman Al Saud, the brother of the ruling crown prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. The newspaper promotes the Saudi government. This is Ethan Klein's source.
I assume Ethan Klein is talking about me because his foot soldier stands are in here going, Empanada isn't reliable. Empanada isn't reliable. Please turn off this video right now. Stop platforming this guy. Stop. Hey, maybe you guys will actually understand a normal, maybe even by pure accident, you might be able to learn a thing or two by watching a YouTuber who unironically knows the they're talking about, as opposed to Ethan Klein. Okay? He's threatening to open your stream right now.
Saudi government propaganda outlet just printing anti-Houthi propaganda that based on nothing but the government of the people who the Houthis are fighting against said so. This is one of the greatest minds of our time, clearly. But don't worry, there's more to this. There's worse. Ethan Klein claims that the Houthis brought back slavery. Check this part out.
Oh, I almost forgot the most fun one. They brought back slavery.
The evidence of this is two articles, and one article rather, and one video. A video called
article from the Saudi royal family's own propaganda newspaper, and also article from an actual reliable outlet, Al Jazeera. Except the Al Jazeera article is from 2014, which is even before the Ansar Allah movement overtook leadership in Yemen. So one side of the story is literally the theirs doing propaganda. The other side of the story is actually the previous leadership that escaped to Saudi Arabia. Also, what's funny about the process in terms of like, I will click on your stream right now and I'll show you the truth to your audience. What's funny about that is like, well, for once, they'll actually see the full context, you know? For once, they'll actually see the full context. Maybe recognize that seeing me in 2-second to 10-second clips is probably not going to help them arrive at the appropriate conclusion. And also simultaneously, the only way to make sure that there aren't things that are clipped out of context would be to talk to me face to face instead of just watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream. I assume that he's already clicked away considering that I'm watching Bad Empanada.
Slavery in Yemen from Al Jazeera World, and an article called Exclusive, Houthis Restore Slavery in Yemen, which curiously doesn't actually include who it's from. So let's look first at the Al Jazeera World one. Interestingly enough, if you go to the page where this documentary is from, and you scroll down to the date, which was cut off by Ethan Klein, you see that it's from the 10th of September 2014, and you see that from the text here, despite government denials...
Bro, just watch the actual video and know other people's opinions or takes on it? Interesting. Well, considering that I already literally just said the things that Bad Empanada is saying in this video, perhaps perhaps I've already seen pieces of this video and already correctly addressed it. He's just saying you won't watch the nuke because it would cook you? That's interesting. Why won't he actually talk to me where he can't clip me out of context? Is he too afraid? This is fact checking, by the way. This isn't like someone else's opinions on the nuke. We can talk right now if he wanted to.
Investigation uncovers evidence of slave labor in Yemen. Now, we might ask the question, who was the government of Yemen 2014? Was it the Houthis?
I even said I would watch the nuke with him, side by side. I already know what clips he used in the nuke. Because, ironically enough, if Ethan Klein's fan base wanted to know a lot of the context behind the clips on the content puke, they could simply go to a video on my YouTube page that came out months before the content puke actually came out. Ethan Klein versus Hasan Piker Explained 4 months ago. I promise you, if you are in Ethan Klein's fan base and actually went in and watched Ethan Klein versus Hasan Piker Explained, you'd be shocked at how much of the content puke was addressed already months prior. So if Ethan wanted to understand the context behind a lot of the clips that he'd used, if he was actually spending months and months and months on end doing research, he could have accidentally arrived at this video where he could have basically figured out what the actual background was. But I don't think he's interested. I don't think he's interested in the context behind the clips that he used. I think he just wanted to do Hasbara. That's it. It's much easier to shelter your audience from the truth. I'm the one who's saying, if you have some brilliant takes, we can have a conversation in person where you can't clip me out of context. I made this video before the content puke. It's out there for everyone. It's out there for everyone to see. And maybe if they watch this video, they'll come to the conclusion, they'll come to an interesting conclusion where they'll go, wait a minute, if there was all of this extra additional context to a lot of the clips that I saw on the content puke, why didn't Ethan do his research? Perhaps he doesn't care about the truth at all. Perhaps he doesn't know about the history of Israel at all. Why not? He's not watching anymore. He pulled up to the stream for a bit and heard the part where he said he's afraid to talk to you, and all he said is going to give me back my hat. So sad, Lamau. What hat? The irony, of course, is that there's also literally conversations that we had face to face that people can go back and watch. Ironically enough, he literally clipped those conversations out of context as well. How do you clip chimp a convo that you were a part of a year later to completely change the actual points that I was making? He said you're a psycho for having this video pinned. He thinks you have it pinned all the time. No, one of the things I learned from the unethical Reactgate that I participated in was better standards and practices. One of those better standards and practices was to pin the video that I'm reacting to.
No, it was the.
I don't understand. He wanted my attention for the longest time, and I gave him a crumb of it back, and now he's saying he doesn't want my attention. I'm confused. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It truly does not make any sense.
Saudi-backed government. This article is not about the Houthis. It's about the Saudi-backed government. If anything, this is pro-Houthi propaganda because these are the people who the Houthis fought against. But if you thought that was bad, just wait for this. Exclusive. Houthis restore slavery in Yemen. So this is an article by Arshak Al-Awsat. Exclusive. Houthis restore slavery in Yemen. Modern slavery is prevalent in Yemeni regions under the control of Iran-backed Houthi militias. Sources close to the group told us that civilians have been forced into slavery by the Houthis. The Houthis are working tirelessly to restore slavery in Yemen. Several local reports have confirmed this. Yemeni activists have revealed this. They told us. A civilian who works for a pro-Houthi leader told us that he has been a slave for years without pay. And then experts confirmed that the Houthis have been forcing civilians into slavery. Wow, those are some really great sources. It's someone told us, we swear we didn't make this up. Someone told us, we swear we didn't make this up. Someone told us, we swear we didn't make this up. Like 5 times over. That's interesting sourcing there. Even despite any sort of bias of the newspaper, that's obviously just a complete nothing burger. I can't believe I said that. I wonder why.
Someone is cleaning up his IG comments on his latest post like crazy. Oh yeah. Wait, I saw that. Wasn't that on his own subreddit, H3H3? People were complaining about, please just stop talking about Hasan. Like, we get it, bro. We get it. Like, holy shit. Bro, just dial this grown, sad man up and end this if he doesn't want to answer. He's proven a loser. I'm not going to harass him. On the H3 podcast IG, I wonder if they deleted the comments now. No, I'm not going to harass him. I've already made my stance known. If he wants to talk to me about the content puke, we can talk about the content puke. He can have the clips ready to go.
This newspaper would just say stuff like that so brazenly based on nothing except trust us, bro. I wonder why. I'll tell you why. I don't actually wonder. I know why. Because this newspaper, Arshak Al-Awsat, was founded with the approval of the Saudi.
Okay, I covered all this yesterday. I don't know why you guys wanted me to watch this video. Like, I literally covered all of this yesterday. I did this exact same investigation yesterday by basically going through these steps piece by piece. Arshak Al-Awsat. I mean, I guess there's more people in here. Probably more Ethan Klein fans in here as well. Maybe they'll actually see the truth as well. Even though then I'd have to basically explain to them like that the Saudi coalition forces with American weapons did a man-made blockade after the previous very unpopular Yemeni leadership escaped to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and the UAE basically created a man-made famine in Yemen and killed a shit ton of people. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. If we were in here. The other one we wanted you to watch was about the Jewish expulsion from Arab countries. It's like number 8 or so. Yeah, that's the other thing that I also talked about extensively as well. The comparison between Plan Dalit and the Nakba to forcible Jewish expulsions from other Arab nations who are not Palestinian, by the way, is ridiculous. The fact that he had the audacity to say that 1 million Jews were forcibly expelled from surrounding Arab regions, as though it was the same as the ethnic cleansing that the Palestinians experienced during the Nakba from 1947 all the way to 1949, okay, with untold amounts of planned violence. Like that is truly, truly. He's playing videos of you explaining the context part and just stopped on it. Yeah, I don't think he wants to see the truth. I don't think he wants to understand the truth because once again, those are random. Those are different Arab countries. Okay, even if they all militarily were trying to expel their Jewish populations. Okay, and I'm not saying that there wasn't harassment and people escaping these countries. Okay, due to pan-Arabic nationalism, but also beyond that, the actions of Israel against the Palestinian population that created unimaginable backlash, as Jews often suffer around the world when Israel does violent actions that they masquerade as doing so for Judaism. Okay, but the notion that this is even remotely comparable to the military actions of Zionist brigades, early Zionist brigades, is insane. Okay, there is no way to look at that. There is literally no way to look at that other than just pure Hasbara. That's why I pointed out that this is either pure stupidity and Ethan does not know the real history. Okay, like if he's calling me anti-Semitic for saying that the Israeli government also participated in collaborating and in some instances applying pressure from European countries, or rather directly blowing up synagogues in Iraq, for example, then he's not calling me anti-Semitic. He's calling Avi Shlaim anti-Semitic, for example. Okay? Except for Hasan viewers, every action that Hamas does can be justified because of the apartheid. No. This is completely incorrect. Okay? It's completely incorrect. And the only reason why you're saying that is because you're trying to cope, but you unfortunately are not clever enough to come up with a better Hasbara talking point. You're attacking a straw man that you made up in your mind. My argument is never that everything that Hamas is infallible and everything that Hamas does is good. That has never been my argument at all. My argument is that the standard of violence is set by the colonial entity. Okay? He is too afraid of addressing the truth. He's too afraid of educating his chat on the truth. I think it's an incredibly irresponsible thing to do as a massive content creator who has, now a smaller audience, but still a relatively sizable progressive audience. Okay. Ethan showed the context, but said it changes nothing about his point. If I can't call Klansmen inbred, what the can I do? Where is the Oh, here. Ethan
Hello, everyone.
denies
Welcome
the
to another
Nakba.
debunking of Ethan Klein's supposed content nuke. So at one point in his supposed content nuke, Ethan Klein attempts to justify the Israeli settler colonial state and its expulsion of Palestinians by glossing over the Nakba, and that basically the Arab world just randomly, crazily became full anti-Semitic, not reacting to anything in particular at all, and expelled and forced out and pogromed all of the Jews. And we're going to go over all of the examples that he uses here to justify this claim. So firstly, let's watch him gloss over the Nakba here.
To think that Jews as an ethnic minority in Israel would not be safe? After all, Israel is a...
You're getting his arguments wrong. Watch the video. I mean, I watched bits and pieces of the video at this point. Like the inbred argument is completely wrong. One must ask the question, how did Ethan Klein do so much research and get this so unimaginably wrong? One must also doubly ask this question to Ethan Klein himself directly. Why did he, after getting it wrong, refuse to learn the true context of the situation? I've tweeted about this. I've used this as an obvious example of Ethan clipping me out of context. Why did it take 4 attempts for Ethan to even see the rest of the context and then still continue saying, no, it doesn't matter. I think you're still anti-Semitic. And not only that, but also, why is it appropriate for Ethan to clip me out of context all the goddamn time, but then you're like, you're taking him out of context. You're taking him out of context over and over again. Okay? If I am losing some of this context and nuance because I'm looking at clips, I think the best solution here would be to have a direct face-to-face conversation instead of him clicking on my stream and trying to find clippable moments from my stream. That's all I'm stating.
A country of refugees. If the Jews didn't come from...
It's so funny. Does he think he's a refugee or he, Klein, are a refugee? You guys aren't refugees. You make refugees. Palestinians are refugees because of you. Get it.
I think another gross part of this was him saying that him using me saying that rapes happening on October 7 does not change the dynamic for me one bit, and that this does not justify him consistently using that over and over again in a malicious way. I think is completely inappropriate. Completely inappropriate. You can say, bro, watch the video all day. I said I would watch the video with him. Okay? I said I would watch the video with him.
It's straight, okay?
From Europe after the they came from the surrounding.
He is, guys, listen. You can come in here and say, oh, you're crashing out or whatever all day, every day. Okay? The reality of the matter is, I think most people, reasonable people, can understand who has been on an extended crash out for the past 6 months, perhaps even longer. I'm not the one trying to dox Reddit mods. I'm not the one going after random Redditors and declaring war on random Reddits, random subreddits, okay? I'm not the one posting at 3 a.m. Instagram stories every single day. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that he was doing half of this shit for the longest time because I deliberately avoided looking into it. Okay? I'm not the one trying to send my audience after journalists that have written articles about me far before he even chose to do this weird Hasbara thing where he's like, I'm pro-Palestinian, but no one is defending Palestine in the way that I want to, you know? There's a clip of him saying how he fully understands what you meant by rapes not changing the dynamic months before the content nuke, but he's so disingenuous that he shifted his stance to support his narrative. I have not seen it, but that would not be surprising. He literally said he's considering getting journalists on Slate to do a retraction, calling them names live.